I can recall, I think it was way back in 1998 when we went to PRASANTHI for the first, it was called the first Chairman's Conference.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. So can you tell us more about that? How many times have you been to PRASANTHI?
I went about 8 times,
8
yeah.
times. So can you give us some experience on your visits to Sabah?
Yeah, well, the first one was beautiful. And the rest just sort of followed in the line of duty, really. That first one I had a strange experience. I was put in a shed, and I was given a bed right inside, just beside the door.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is going to be terrible in the middle of the night, people coming and going. So I got up and I moved down to the center of the shed, and there's another sort of entrance, and I put my bed down there. And then the Sabadals came and said, oh, it's an Australian going to come and join you. And this fellow Peter came. No one seems to know much about Peter, but he parked beside me and he said, this is no good, we'll get a roundhouse. Well, there weren't any rooms in the roundhouse available, but we shifted to the roundhouse. And then he said, this room's no good, the mosquito netting's all broken. So we got another room in the roundhouse. And I went off to get my whites for the, and as a very young man, I had played a lot of tennis. And my mentor was William Tilden. I had his book. And I studied that and I patterned my game on his book.
Yeah. And
nobody knew that but me. But when I come in with my whites, Peter says, what are you going to do? Play tennis like William Tilden? Like Will Tilden.
Yeah.
And he seemed to know everything about me. And one night he said, there was a full moon night. And in the Upanishads it says, by my moonbeams I nourished plants. Yeah. And I felt this nourishment from this moon. And I said to Peter, I said, I think I'll sleep out tonight under this full moon. And there's another chap in the room, a South African, and he said, don't scorpions and snakes and anything out there, don't take the risk. But so I just lay down on my bed, which was by the door. And Peter poked his head in and he says, I thought you were sleeping out tonight, you go and sleep out. So I just picked up my mat and went out and slept under the moonlight. And I really didn't get any sleep, but I just meditated the whole night. And when I got up in the morning, I put my foot down and I was just, Om. And so I went up and then I went out and meditated on the Hillview Stadium.
All right.
I was just lying out on the bench. And a beautifully dressed Indian couple came up and said, don't sleep here, sir. Go and sleep over there by the, at the end of the Hillview Stadium. There's this lovely thing with and it's got the picture of Krishna and Arjuna in the chariot. And so I just lay there in the shade. And I just laid there and meditated. And I heard the celestial bhajan. And it was amazing. Oh. It was so clear and beautiful.
Was that in the night time? Or?
No, this was daytime.
Daytime, oh.
Yeah, middle of the day. And I meditated all night and half the day. And then finally the bhajan finished with Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And so I just got up and made my way back. And all the school children were coming out of the schools. I just walked past them. And then I went later that afternoon, I went to get some money out of the bank and I'd forgotten to take my passport. And I said, look, I'm sorry, I haven't got my passport. He said, don't you worry. I said, no, you don't need your passport. So I don't know what all that was about, but it was quite magical.